O'Neill. Ms. O'Neill? You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everybody. We are here to protest Donald Trump bragging about sexual assault. We are here to give a message loud and clear to Mr. Donald Trump. We will not tolerate his talk about sexually assaulting women. We will not tolerate his talk insulting women and demeaning women. We will not tolerate him as President of the United States. We will elect Hillary Clinton President of the United States and make history in this country. Donald Trump is so entitled that he believes he can speak with impunity about women in this way. He talks about when you're a star, you can do these things and you can get away with it. They can't do anything. Guess what? All of the women and men gathered here this morning, and women and men across the entire country are uniting to tell Mr. Trump, no, you cannot get away with this. No, we will hold you accountable, and you will not win. You will be a loser. Mr. Trump, you're fired. Thank you.
And now the woman who famously asked in the halls of Congress, where are the women? And she is the beautiful woman in the lady, and also a lady in red. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you our fearless leader, Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney.
Thank you, Tish. Thank you, Now. Thank all of the women that are standing here. There is a bit of ancient wisdom that says, as you sow, so shall you reap. And so it shall be in this election. And it will be women who will elect Hillary Clinton President of the United States. Yeah. And it will be women who put the final nail into the coffin of the candidacy of Donald Trump.
That's right.
It is women who have fought so hard for their right to vote, and they will use their vote to tell Mr. Trump that he's wrong on a lot of issues, but particularly he's wrong in his attitude and understanding of women. The remarks that he made, which we can hear ourselves, are wrong, insulting, and disqualifying for the highest position in our great country. Whether his words are true or false, whether he actually did the things he bragged about or not, he made it clear that somehow, in bragging about it, he thought it accrued to his credit. It makes him feel bigger to make women feel smaller. The greatest country in the world cannot elect to the highest position one who brags about assaulting and demeaning half the population of the United States women. Just try to think about what this message says to our young girls and to our young boys and to women in the workforce and to the single mothers. What do his words say when he brags about assaulting and demeaning women, rating them on their appearance, saying whether they're a 1 or a 10, embarrassing them on Twitter and Facebook, suing them, attacking them and assaulting them and bragging about it? He has the clearly stated goals of also repealing the Health Care Act and of overturning Roe v. Wade. And when you compare him with the record of Hillary Rodham Clinton from the first days out as a young woman working to help other people, passing as First Lady health care for the young people of this country. I was with her in Beijing when she gave her famous speech that women's rights are human rights, and elevated a discussion of how we treat women to an international and national debate. I was with her when she worked for our great city to make sure that we could rebuild, that we could give health care to our first responders. Compare her ideas and well thought out statements and principles and goals and policy programs to the incoherent rambling of her opponent, which does not spell out in any detail how he wants to accomplish anything. Her record speaks for itself. It is one of accomplishment, of selfless service to others, compared to one who brags about assaulting women. The choice is clear. It will be women who will be the resounding vote in electing Hillary Rodham Clinton and putting a nail into the candidacy and to the election of Donald Trump, and the nail that will defeat him. Here in the great state of New York, where the women's rights movement started, this campaign shows more than any that we need the Equal Rights Amendment, because we will never correct unequal pay for equal work unless we have the force of law about it to enforce it. It's that simple. And with the women in the Constitution, they would have the right to sue if they were insulted. They don't have the right to sue now on the federal level. And Hillary Rodham Clinton's entire career has been of inclusion, building us stronger together. A vote for Hillary Clinton is a vote for this country, a vote for our principles, a vote for women, a vote for men, a vote for ourselves. Everyone must use their vote and get out and elect Hillary Rodham Clinton, the next president of the great country of the United States. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Congresswoman. Thank you, Congresswoman. We want to thank the labor movement is squarely behind Hillary Clinton because the labor movement and the middle class are inextricably tied. Our next speaker is a leader in the labor movement. She's the regional director at UAW. Ladies and gentlemen, Julie Kushner.
I'd like to say how great it is to be here today with all of you, but I can't say that because I'm really very sorry that we have to be here today holding Donald Trump accountable for the despicable things he has said and he has done. When I came to this great city in the 1970s and began working to organize women workers, secretaries at Columbia University, at the Museum of Modern Art, I learned very quickly that one of the major problems that women face at work is sexual harassment. One of the major problems that women at work face is discrimination. Over the last almost 40 years, I have seen so much progress made in these areas in our workplaces, and I cannot stand the thought that the election of Donald Trump could take all of this away from us, could set us back decades and decades. It's just not right, and we cannot allow it. Now, on a very personal level, I find the remarks made by Donald Trump so upsetting. I know that nearly every woman, probably every woman in this crowd, at some time in her work life or in her home life, suffered some form of sexual abuse, sexual harassment. This is the way of life for all of us. And here we are, some of us 50 years later, hearing the women who have accused Donald Trump. And it brings to mind some occasion where we felt humiliated, where we felt abused. It's a very personal issue for women. 50 years later, we get emotional about something that happened. Even if it seemed very minor at the time, it's still a very emotional occurrence for us. We cannot have a president who allows our country think it's okay for this kind of behavior. We must put an end to it. Now, Hillary Clinton has asked a very important question of all of us. She said, who are we? Well, this is our moment to show the world who we are by standing up to this kind of abusive treatment, by standing up to abusive language, by making sure that our country doesn't elect someone who could behave like this and encourage others. So this moment is very critical for our movement, for our country. And I'm here to say that I'm with Hillary Clinton. We are all with We're going to make sure that the person in the White House advances women's rights, not takes us back decades. Thank you.
What's her name? Hillary. What's her name? Hillary. What's her name? Hillary. Our next speaker is the president of the National Institute of Reproductive Health. She's been a fighter to protect Roe v. Wade and our rights to choose. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Andrea Miller.
Thank you. I too am proud to be here today, but saddened by the litany that we have had to listen to and that we have witnessed. And we sadly know the list is long. But this is not just about Donald Trump's past. This is about the future that he promises for our country, for women and their families. He has said quite clearly that he wants to ban abortion. He wants to make sure our Supreme Court is filled with justices who would overturn Roe versus Wade. And make no mistake, he has even finally admitted that that would mean women would be punished. Women would be put in jail. That is the simple fact. Now, thankfully, to this moment, Donald Trump has not had the kind of power in this country that lets him put those despicable views into law. But you can tell a lot about a person by the company they keep. So let's talk for a minute about his running mate, Mike Pence, who is truly the embodiment of Trump's position on women and their right to choose and their ability to make critical decisions about their reproductive lives and their families. In Congress and as governor of Indiana, Pence has supported some of the absolutely most extreme legislation on family planning, contraception, and abortion in this nation. Indiana is now one of the most hostile states in the nation for a woman who's trying to obtain an abortion, with a dozen laws that shame, pressure, and punish her. Now, these policies, again, as Donald Trump has admitted, have the logical outcome of punishing women, of turning them into criminals, and sending them to jail. That is exactly what happened in Indiana under Mike Pence's watch. They sent a woman to jail for 20 years for ending her own pregnancy. That, my friends, is the future that Trump and Pence promise America. That is the opposite, and that is an understatement, of what Hillary Clinton promises us when we elect her the next president of the United States. She has proven time and again that she is a champion for women and families, that she respects us, she understands the centrality